Well, ladies and gentlemen, the day has come and the 100th Jubilee Urban News episode is on the air. To be honest, back when I began making these episodes, I didn't think I'd last this long, but I got into it and here we are. And by the way, as always, a massive thanks to my awesome Patreon supporters and everyone else who keeps this going. This time I'd like to tell you a little bit about the process of how I make these episodes so that it becomes a bit more clear to you. In general, searching for various urban news stories has become my daily routine. I follow a bunch of related Twitter accounts, by the way you can follow me there, and constantly monitor my newsfeed, saving whatever seems interesting. I also follow some other social networks and the Skyscraper City forum, and besides that, quite often you write to me about different news right here in the comments or Instagram direct or on my Discord server. And from all this I save the most interesting news in my backlog, from which later I choose what to cover in the next episode. First, I focus on the countries where most of my viewers are from. I make sure to include news from them in every episode and then balance it with stories from elsewhere, usually in a roughly 50-50 mix to keep things diverse. This list is based on viewing statistics from the past 90 days and changes periodically. The logic here is that people are mostly interested in watching news from their own country, and this is clearly visible in the analytics. For example, viewers from Canada are much more active in watching news from Canada, while viewers from, for example, Sweden are more active in watching news about their country. However, there are some exceptions. For example, the Netherlands watches almost every video even if I don't mention them. As for the rest of the news, I select those that I find interesting in general and or from countries that I am interested in. For example, I am quite curious about Latin America, as you may have noticed, although mentions of it have almost no effect on viewing statistics from there. However, the video All the News from Chile was quite successful, so maybe it would be a good idea to make something like that for Mexico or Brazil. I also find it really fun to look for updates from countries that don't get mentioned in the news that often. It feels like solving a puzzle that makes the picture of the world a bit more complete. For example, I've been hunting for news from Iceland for quite a long time and it turned into some kind of sporting interest. I mean, something's gotta be happening there. Of course, no matter how hard I try, I can't mention all countries as often as they deserve to be mentioned. It's more difficult to cover the Asian region. There are some reasons for this, and the main one is probably the language barrier. Most of the news from Vietnam, Thailand or China are written in their languages, which is logical, and they simply pass me by. And if something like that does come up, very often these news are written so vaguely that there is actually nothing to report. I don't know why, maybe it's some kind of local feature, but I rejected a lot of potentially interesting news because they lacked any details, like what exactly was built and where, how much did it cost, etc. No information. Sometimes there are even no photos or plans at all, or they are of very poor quality. Instead, there are lengthy quotes from officials at the opening, descriptions of how happy the citizens were and how the new project will improve their lives, which is also important, but please, would you be so kind to provide some numbers as well? And what about the process of making videos themselves? It is important to note that apart from running this channel, I also have a full-time job and can only work on the videos in my free time. So at the beginning of the week, I select the most interesting news stories from my backlog that I want to cover and prepare a script in which I summarize the news articles, sometimes complementing them with some context. When that's done, I start recording the narration bit by bit, and usually I try to edit it the same day.
Hey, did you edit the video?
Yeah, I edited it.
You edited it?
I edited it.
You edited it?
I edited it.
You edited it, I edited it.
But of course, it all depends on a lot of other stuff. Sometimes by Friday almost all is ready, but sometimes I don't have any time during the week and have to do everything on the weekend. But in general, I came to conclusion that the video should be the length that I can make without overexerting myself so that I don't burn out and continue enjoying the process. So the videos are usually up to 10 minutes long, and of course they don't cover everything that happened in the world during the week. Some news even have to wait several weeks to their turn actually. So when you write in the comments that I missed something, the reason is that I am not a news agency with a whole team of journalists, but just one guy with a laptop who runs a YouTube channel in his spare time. And now let's move on to the news. Finally. Canadian city of Edmonton has signed a $220 million contract with Hyundai Rotem for the delivery of 32 trams, which are to be delivered in 2029 and 2030. The new vehicles will replace the fleet of Siemens U2 wagons, which have been in service for 45 years and are used on the capital and the metro lines. Hyundai Rotem claims that it will adapt the trams to local conditions where temperatures can drop to minus 40 degrees Celsius. The trams will also be equipped with a collision warning system. South Korean company received the highest overall score in the tender ahead of Siemens and CAF. Meanwhile, Bremer Straßenbahn AG is introducing a new AI-based security system designed to detect potential threats in their trams more quickly. The system, known as AI Watch, was developed in collaboration with Bremen-based company Just Add AI, that's the name, Just Add AI, and is considered unique in Germany. By the end of 2026, about a third of the tram fleet is planned to be equipped with the new system, and from 2027, the entire tram fleet will be covered. The point of this innovation is that a tram car, which is almost 40 meters long, can be fully controlled by a driver at any given moment. So AI Watch solves this problem by analyzing images from cameras installed in the passenger compartment in real time and identifying potential threats in the vehicle. The system introduction is seen by local politicians as an important contribution to improving the perception of safety in public transport. Development of this system in one-third of the tram fleet will cost about 500,000 euros. 80% of this amount is being financed by the Federal Ministry of Transport as part of the Digitalization of Municipal Transport Systems program.
Digitalization. Digitalization. Sorry.
Hard to say, hard to do.
Meanwhile, in the French city of Brest, they launched Tramline B, which became the second in the city. It stretches 5.1 kilometers from Brest railway station through the city center and the university to the CHU La Cavale hospital. There are 9 stops along the line, including Liberté, where passengers can transfer to the Line A. Construction lasted for 3 years and included 2 new bridges over the Penfeld River, one of which is 56 meters long and the other 205, while the existing bridges were reinforced and widened to accommodate the tram line. The total budget of the project came to 225 million euros, of which 168 million was provided by the Brest authorities. Swedish infrastructure company Trafikverket has signed the first 2 contracts for the construction of the Eastern Link project, valued at 10.3 billion euros, which involves construction of a 160-kilometer high-speed railway line from Järna, southwest of Stockholm, via Norrköping to Linköping. Construction is scheduled to be completed in 2035. The eastern branch will consist of a double-track railway with a maximum speed of 250 km per hour, and about 25% of the new line will be built on viaducts or in tunnels. The new line will run parallel to the northern section of the main Stockholm-Malmö line and will help to reduce congestion and travel time. The Chilean city of Puerto Montt has announced plans to open a Hilton hotel, which will be located in the 30-story Torre Costanero Tower, which is the tallest building in southern Chile. Construction of the tower began in 2016, but was halted later on, leaving the facade unfinished and only its concrete frame towering over the city. After the opening scheduled for 2027, the tower will have 220 rooms and 70 apartments, as well as a conference hall and an observation deck on the top floor, which will contribute to the development of local tourism. And it will also stop spoiling the city's panorama. And one more interesting fact about this building is that it was built on the site of a former railway station, which was then removed to make way for several high-rise buildings, which, as for me, was a huge downgrade for the city and generally a very short-sighted decision. And that's all the news, and not only news for this time. The links to the news sources, as usual, are in the video description, so thanks for watching all these episodes and see you in the next video.